Good afternoon. My name is Melvin Ardon. I'm the pastor of the Spanish ministries here at Rolling Hills Covenant Church, and I want to give you a quick update of what our church has been working through and how our church has been growing within the past couple of years. Within the past couple of years, we've decided that we're a church that is going to remain. Now, what does that mean? We're basing that out of Acts 2:42, 2:47 is that we've chosen to remain in the Word of God. We've chosen to remain in communion and fellowship, and we've chosen to remain in prayer. And because we've chosen to remain in those four things, we become a generous people. And because we've become a generous people and we've chosen to remain in these things, God has continued to bring people to our midst. So what does that mean? We've chosen to remain. We also chosen to grow. And how we've been doing that is in our life groups and also in our discipleship classes. We're developing a series of 5 discipleship books for the Spanish ministry. And that has been helping us to lead our people into a season of growing. So we've chosen to remain, we chose to grow, and we also decided that we're a church that is made out of disciples that will make other disciples. So we remain, we grow, we make disciples that make other disciples. And to illustrate that, I want to share a quick story with you of someone that has gone through these steps and how it has played out in their lives. So Christian Garcia is an Ecuadorian man who I met about 5 years ago. We met at a coffee shop, and the first time that we met, he actually welcomed me with these words. He said, "Melvin, I just want to let you know that I'm an atheist, and please don't talk to me about God." So we had coffee, we had a conversation, and one thing led to another. We became friends, and things started to happen in his life, and that seed that we have sown started to grow a little bit. And he started to grow in a relationship with Jesus. He didn't know how it was happening, how it was going, how that was coming to be. But one day he actually called me and he said, "Melvin, I've decided to follow Jesus and I want to be baptized." So we actually baptized him here in our old baptistry, and he decided that he needed to make Jesus part of who he was. He needed to remain. So our church became a place where he could do that, where he could come, remain in the Word of God, remain in fellowship, remain in communion, remain in prayer, be generous. And he started to grow. He started to grow because he joined the life group. He started to grow because he joined our CR program here at RHCC. And he grew to the point where he realized that he could no longer hold this gift for himself. So he decided that he would go back to Ecuador, where he's from, and that he would speak to his family about Jesus. Ever since then, 6 members of his family have come to Christ, and 5 of them have been baptized. As a matter of fact, this past year, Pastor Nate and myself went to Ecuador, and we were asked to come to baptize 4 of them. One of them actually flew from Ecuador to LA so that she could be baptized here with us. So we traveled with Pastor Nate to Ecuador, and while we were there, we also officiated Christian and Diana's wedding in Ecuador. And what's fascinating about this is that the 4 people that we went to baptize in Ecuador actually came to Christ through Zoom. During this past years, we have been dealing with the issue of the pandemic. And when that happened, our church went to Zoom, and that's the only place where we were meeting. All of our life groups migrated to Zoom, and that's where our growing was happening. So when Christian was down in Ecuador, he began to tell them, "Hey, if you guys want to be in the Bible study, if you want to be in the life group, this is the link." So they started to link up, and that's where they actually met Jesus, through Zoom. And we were able to connect with them and be part of their growth in that part. And now Christian has come back. Christian is here with us. He's continuing to grow. His wife is going to be with him soon. But all of this to illustrate how our church has remained, how our church has chosen that we're going to grow, and how we've decided that we're disciples that make other disciples. As I mentioned with the story of Christian, our church at some point became fully a church that met on Zoom. And when we were asked to come back to in person, that was a big challenge for our church because on one hand, we had actually grown over that pandemic because now our people that had family members in other countries had invited them and they become part of our family through Zoom. People that I've never seen in person that are pastored by our church and are ministered by our church, and our church is the only church that they have. So when we came back to be in person, we had to make a conscious decision of what are we going to do. So we actually decided, the leadership and myself, we decided that we would become a hybrid church. So what does that mean? It means a lot of work. That's what it means. But it means that our church actually invested a lot of monies into the cameras that are now in the 290s, all of the equipment that is used so that we can make our services available on Zoom and online. And I'm very grateful. I want to say that I'm very grateful for this because this has helped other ministers in our church as well to stretch their communications. And I mention that because it's been essential in the growth of our church. So since we've come back to be in person and we have this community on Zoom, our church has grown to be over 150 people that meet in person every Sunday, and maybe 30 to 40 people that join us from all over the world. They're literally there in the 290s with us. We can see them on the screens. They take communion with us. They worship with us. They join us in the service. They'll do the Bible reading or the benediction, or they'll give testimonies of what God has been doing in their lives. So that has completely changed the dynamics of our church. And lastly, I want to share the last thing that we have been experiencing in our church is that because we've chosen to be a community that is designed to feed the needs of the entire Latino community, we found that there's many Latinos that don't actually speak Spanish, that are somehow connected, or people that are somehow connected to our community that don't speak Spanish. And this has given us the challenge and the opportunity to reach out to them. So we've decided that we have a fully bilingual worship service. We've decided we've invested monies also in translating devices to provide for our family members and to provide for the community members that come that don't speak Spanish. And every Sunday, they hear the sermon in their own language through our translators. And once a month, we've decided that on the first Sunday of the month, we have our potluck, we do fellowship, but also we all worship together. So our youth that doesn't speak Spanish joins us. Our friends and family members that don't speak Spanish, they join us. And we have our service fully bilingual. So that's another big thing that has been happening, and that's allowed us to accommodate the growth that God is doing in our church. And I want to share all of this with you so that you can rejoice with us and so that you can see what the Lord has been doing in the Spanish ministry at Rolling Hills Covenant Church. And also to let you know that this has been done because of the efforts of all of our lay leaders in the Spanish ministry, the wonderful people that help us lead the men, women, the youth, that help us in the worship, that help us in communications. And all of that is possible because of their generosity, but also all of this is possible because of your generosity. So I want to continue to encourage you to give to the church, to give to the Lord, because God is doing amazing things at Rolling Hills Covenant Church. God is doing amazing things with the Spanish ministry at Rolling Hills Covenant Church. So I just want to say that I thank you and that I bless you.